I am sitting here with Nicole Harrison, Social Nicole, who is a Minnesota blogger. And why did you start blogging? How did you start blogging? When did you start blogging? What brought you to blogging?
Well, I have been reading blogs for quite a while, and I work with people on communications and often talk about how powerful blogs can be. And so I thought it would be a good thing for me to actually blog and experience it for myself. And I also, probably last November, so started feeling like maybe I had something. I started to pose ideas in my head that I might have something I want to write about. Mm-hmm. So I spent about 6 months pondering that, making my own, hurdles to get over, like what blog software would I use and all that kind of stuff before I finally got a blog set up on WordPress and moved forward, went live, that kind of thing.
So what is your blog about?
My blog is about relationships and making connections, so professional connections, and I've tied it into online and offline. So it could be about a simple how to write thank you notes or say thank you to people, or how to use Twitter effectively to build relationships. I've also done a few things on parents and social media, anything that's relationship related that I think people are interested in or I feel like writing about.
Sure. So what's your day job?
My day job is I do digital strategy and social media consulting. I work with my own just recently established company, Social Nicole, officially an LLC now. And I also work with the Ritter Group, which is a nonprofit consulting firm. And so I go in and do strategy for nonprofits, oftentimes through the Ritter Group.
Okay.
And for-profit through Social Nicole.
All right. So you've also got a nonprofit talk Twitter chat
I do.
Started. So tell me about that.
Do. That Twitter chat started. Should I be looking at that or you?
You can look at me.
All right. Hello. Twitter chat. The Twitter chat started. I was just one day sitting on Twitter asking some questions about fundraising and online fundraising, and all of a sudden got a lot of people talking about it, and someone popped up and said to me in a direct message, "You should set up a chat." And I said, "I don't know anything about that." And so this person who actually lives in another part of the country sent me all these ideas and said, "Do this, do that, whatever." And the way I operate is kind of spur of the moment. So I'm like, okay, this is a weekly chat now. I asked people who were involved that day what they thought and what days they wanted to participate in, that kind of stuff. And it's just turned in now, it's probably been like 5 months that I've been running it once a week on Wednesdays, 2 to 3 p.m.
What time zone?
Time zone, Central Standard Time.
Okay.
And the topics are usually generated hopefully from people participating. I ask people to tell me what they're interested in talking about. It's typically something digital related, so online, but it's also oftentimes, like next week's chat I think is about how to use digital, online resources for inexpensive or free training resources for your staff, and connecting them to offline things like a meetup or whatever.
Right.
Are those valuable? So, the goal is really to help nonprofits figure out how to really use these tools to positively affect them. And it's great. Everyone, people participate. We have a core group, and then there's always new people who jump in, and the feedback has been that people really feel like it's beneficial. And even when a topic repeats, like search engine optimization, we'll be doing our 3rd session on that. People ask me to do another session, we want to talk about that again. So it's a popular topic, and the learning curve is pretty steep on that. So
sure. What's the hashtag for the Twitter chat?
It's NP Talk.
Okay.
And you can go to my website, and there's a little tab too for nonprofit talk, so you can see all the you can see the weekly topics, and we now do archive. And I actually have a co-moderator who she does her end to put it somewhere on her website and gives me the code, and it goes in my website, and it scrolls, so you can scroll. It's very fancy.
Nice.
Very proud. That's a big moment for me.
And your website is at where?
Oh, socialnicole.com.
Okay.
And that's my Twitter name too.
It's your Twitter name, yes. So what has been the biggest surprise so far in blogging?
Well, my very first blog post was actually on Posterous, and that's what got me to say I need to get my official blog. I need to finally just make it live. And I think that post, I was talking about an experience, a customer service experience I had in digital, where they were using digital communications when perhaps they should have moved over to a phone call. And I got a comment that was kind of like, you know, you're being negative and blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of like, oh, my very first post. And I took a deep breath and I'm like, how do I respond? And so I sat back and I didn't do anything for 24 hours. I said, I'm just going to wait and see. And I had put it out on Twitter, and because I've built a community there, someone from New Jersey who I've connected with quite a bit now, he popped in and talked and said, you know, I don't think that was Nicole's intention, and basically he was my advocate, and he totally, you know, counteracted what that person said, that was really powerful to me as far as why businesses, you know, when you use these tools well, it can really be powerful to have that happen. And I've just enjoyed, you know, I don't get a ton of comments or whatever, but I'm thrilled when, you know, I see that I put a blog up and 50 people read it. To me, that's like winning an Academy Award. You know, it's, to me, that's huge. I don't need to have thousands of readers, but to know that, you know, this group of people are interested in what I'm writing about, that's great. And I've also found it interesting as a business tool, because clients will say, people who are signing on as clients, I've figured, are having my blog go into their inbox, because they will say, oh, I read your post, and it's a great way to address, you know, if there are ideas or questions that come up or whatever. And I found with the Ritter group, oftentimes, you know, we're in a meeting, a client has a question, and I call my business partner, Greg, who's more of the fundraising person, and I say, can you write a post about this? And he puts a post up and we send it to the client, and it gives some, you know, like public presence, so that's been really cool.
Good. Yeah. What tips would you give to somebody who's thinking about blogging?
I would say that you have to, I personally think I would, you know, I've heard before I started blogging, and I've listened to people who say, you know, you have to be posting 3 or 4 times a week and all of this. My thing is probably once a week, you know, for a new blogger is fine. You do need to be committed to that. If you fall off the track, like I went a month without posting, the longer you go, the harder it gets to just get back into it. But try to at least put something up once a week. Right before you start the blog, if you have ideas, start writing them down, because once you start the blog, what happened to me is I had all these great ideas, and then when it was live and there was pressure, like I felt like, oh my gosh, I couldn't think of anything. And so ideally you do some writing ahead of time, but we all know that we're all deadline basis, and you got to learn to be your own, you know, to a point that you're setting your own deadlines and meeting them. I have clients who hire me so that I can tell them that they have to reach their deadline, and, you know, I can get on them about that, but either you need to be very self-motivated or have someone who's telling you, get this done.
So again, your blog is at where?
SocialNicole.com.
And you're on Twitter at?
Social Nicole.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you very much for taking the time to talk.
You're welcome.